would I do? I always went into this going, okay, so I would do, thinking that I needed to be listing a specific set of action. If I am earning $10,000 a month, then I must be doing podcast episodes and 35 social media posts and promoting my coaching and my programs all the friggin' time, and like going to a whole bunch of networking events and like all those things, right? And I just got lost in these actions. Instead, what Jim guided was, okay, so what would you be doing if that was a thing that was already in your life? Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast, where we talk about manifestation, money, and practical guidance to creating your dream reality. My name is Amy Van Meel, and I am an experienced coach and transformation guide, obsessed with helping you get out of your own way and create a life that blows your mind each day you wake up. My goal in this podcast is to share practical manifestation, self-awareness, and growth techniques in real talk conversations. So if you're ready to massively transform your reality, your finances, your relationships, and your overall enjoyment of life, you are in the right place. I am absolutely delighted that you're here with me today, babe. Let's get into it. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I just could not record today. My voice might sound a little gravelly today. I will do my best to stop recording if I start coughing. I'm having a bit of a physical experience that is manifesting into what the common language would say is probably a cold. So I'm going to keep today short and sweet. And I'm actually going to take it out of some training and a really amazing audio that I am experiencing at the hands of Jim Fortin. If you're not familiar with Jim Fortin, definitely go find him on the socials. Go check out his podcast. I think it's called Transform Your Life from the Inside Out. Fun fact, I'm actually going to address this because my brain is thinking about this. I learn from a ton of different teachers. And common, I don't know if it's the rhetoric, maybe that's the word I'm looking for, is basically to I think, how do I say this? I think basically we are as business owners, I'm not supposed to, air quotes, tell you that I'm learning from other people all the time. Right? I'm not supposed to direct you away from this podcast or, direct you to somebody else. Cause I don't know. It's something that I wrestle with internally because candidly, I am learning from a shit ton of really amazing, super intelligent, highly informed and educated people in the best possible way. They make all of my work possible and better. And I read probably a couple months ago now that one of specifically my unique gifts and ways of serving the world is actually to call out and celebrate the people that I'm learning from, to shine the light on others as well. This has stood in conflict in my mind, in the 3D human part of my mind that says, no, you don't want to direct them away. You don't want to tell people oh, I'm learning from this person or I learned this from that person because what if they think they're better and they don't come back? And well, that could happen. And hey, I guess then our journey together was over. So I am actively in the process of honoring a commitment that I suppose I'm making right here now in the moment, to share more of who I'm learning from in this particular moment. I have no issue sharing books, right? So anyway, all that to say that I am in some deep learning with Jim Fortin, And you can find some resources of his, and definitely recommend, giving him a follow. So Jim Fortin talks a lot about be, do, have. The short version is basically that we like to, or are taught to, look at the things that we want to have. And that's where we focus all our energy on. I want to have more money. I want to have better health. I want to have, I don't know, like a sexy hot spouse, whatever it is. We sometimes will talk about doing, right? Like, okay, what do I need to do in order to have this? But very rarely do we talk about being. And apologies, Jim, if you're hearing this and I'm kind of butchering this. I seem to recall that Jim clarifies this a bit further and basically says, we think that when we have the thing, then we will do the things, and then we will be the thing. I.e., when I have the $1 million, then I will do whatever I would do with $1 million, and then I would be the person who has $1 million. And he teaches that that's actually quite backwards. And that does track with a lot of what we hear from, or what I definitely learned from different manifestation teachers. Apologies, I needed a sip of my tea and honey. So I want to share a couple of insights that have been really amazing. I'm going to first start with this be, do, have. So one of the things that I've personally struggled with, even though logically the teaching tracks, logically I understand that in order to have something, we have to do something. And before we can do the something, we have to be something, right? That kind of makes sense. But I've really struggled historically with then going, but I don't understand, how do I be that thing now, right? How do I be a, $1 million earner, for example? Now, I don't know what that means. And in this audio that Jim led me through, he basically clarifies this. So I'm going to just read from you my example from my journal, that will just walk you through the process, and you can like play with this a little bit, but I want to clarify this for you. So this one is specifically related to some financial goals, which is fabulous because I'm all about talking about money. So essentially, he encourages to start by picking a thing, like a financial outcome that you want in your life, whatever that thing is. For this particular practice, I set my thing as earning $10,000 each month. Then he walks through a series of questions. And in those series of questions, it helps to uncover the be, do, have part. So the first question is always, and I'm just going to phrase like the simplest version, like, okay, who would I be? And instantly, historically, this is where it gets stuck. So I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know who I'd be. And then in this particular container that I got to be with him in, he says, how would you feel? And that suddenly made sense. All of a sudden, that everything where, listen, I understand that there are lots of teachers, and I have told you this many times as well. It's about how you're feeling in the moment, and that creates everything else. But there was a disconnect in my logical brain between how I was feeling and this sense of being. So I was like, okay, so how would I be if that translates like I would be or I would feel? That gave me a lot of clarity. I would feel financially empowered and proud that I'm earning such a great income. Cool. We've got step one in. Then it's like, okay, what would I do? Who would I be not who would I be doing? That's a weird question to say. What would I do? Well, I always went into this going, okay, so I would do, thinking that I needed to be listing a specific set of actions. Okay, so if I am earning $10,000 a month, then I must be doing, like 5 podcast episodes and 35 social media posts and promoting my coaching and my programs all the friggin' time and like going to a whole bunch of networking events and like all those things, right? And I just got lost in these actions. And instead, what Jim guided was, okay, so what would you be doing if that was a thing that was already in your life? I don't remember exactly how he asked the question, but it translated into this. I would happily pay half the groceries, set money into savings, and circulate money with ease, knowing I'm managing it well. Notice that none of those things are tasks. They are doing things, absolutely. These are actions that I am taking, but they are not tasks that I need to do. And here's the beautiful thing. This state of like, happily paying half the groceries, putting money into savings, circulating money with ease. Those are all action statements. Those are all things that I am doing, and none of them feel overwhelming. They feel wonderful. Then the last question is like, well, what would I have? And this is where so many of us, I feel like we go, what would I have? Well, if I had $1 million, I would have a fully paid off mortgage. I would have like a yearly vacation with my spouse. I would have, I don't know, like, what would you have, right? Like, what would you have if you thought about having $1 million? And the way that Jim phrased it was, I think his example said something like, well, I would have financial overflow or something. In my example, I would have a constant and consistent flow of money into my life. Because if I'm earning $10,000 every month, I would indeed have a constant and consistent flow of money into my life. Seems obvious, seems simple. Here's what's genius about it. We make this so unbelievably complicated that we overwhelm ourselves in the process, and we try so hard to do it perfect. I know I do. I can't be the only one that we try so hard to make this perfect. And we lose the power to the details, if that makes sense. So Jim encourages, so I write this all down. Right now I'm in the practice of writing it all down so I can actually see it in like tangible, okay, it's right there in the paper. And the next question is like, does it feel right? Basically, is there anything inside your be do have statements that needs some realignment that feels good? And then he says, imagine how you would feel today if this were already true for you. Again, this is all very common manifestation advice, right? This is not new teaching. None of this is new necessarily. But what I love about this is that it became so tangible. So I said, oh, okay, am I on the right page? How would I feel today if earning $10,000 each month were already true for me right now? Well, I'd feel calm and pleased and confident in my work and offerings. Cool. That's how I would feel. He encourages to pick a specific date. This is related to the specific visualization that he walks us through. And then to pick an incantation. And I actually kind of love that he uses the word incantation versus affirmation. It's kind of the same thing. He'd probably tell me it's not. It's kind of the same thing. But there's like some magic behind the word incantation. So basically something that is reaffirming for you, that feels good to you, about the attraction of money and how easy it is to attract. So for this particular practice, my incantation was, money desires to be with me so much more than I desire it. It loves being in my energy, so it pours into my life, and it feels easy and joyful for me. So, this practice of like the be, do, have, what I intend for you to take away from walking you through how I have it written in my journal, in my workbook, is to help give clarity to you when you are in the process of wanting to create something into your life. Um, if you're at all like me, even a little bit, maybe you've gotten stuck in the feeling part, the being, like, how do I be that thing? If I already knew how to be it, I would just be it, right? When I was preparing for my first promotion many years ago, I honestly did not want to or have any interest in being a leader. Okay? In terms of like formally having the title lead and having a team of people report into me. I had no interest in it. But already and always believed myself to be a leader. It's just how I've operated in the world. So that's how I was already being. I was already doing the things, right? I was already having the impact because that's just how I saw myself to be. When I went for my second promotion, that one was very intentional. I knew that I wanted to lead a team. I knew I wanted to lead a bigger team. I wanted to be having a bigger impact. I wanted to have bigger challenges. I was pretty clear on where I wanted to go. In that case, I had to figure out how to start practicing the space of being a leader of leaders, meaning that I would now be responsible for and coaching for growth and holding accountable for performance people who also were leaders. It's a big growth. And long before I ever got the role, long before I even applied for the one that I had, I was like, okay, what does this look like? How would I be? How would I feel in how I be? And so I share this example in the trust that hopefully it helps give some clarity. I feel like the doing and the having are probably easier for most of us. I would, though, just say again, if you're if you're doing a practice like this where you're trying to do like the be, do, have process, and you were stuck where I was in the doing part being all actions, all tasks that needed to be done, consider what you would already be doing if you had that thing in your life. So, if you, for example, I'll use the leader example. Before I got the promotion, if I was already leading an international team at a very high level and I had very high performing leaders reporting into me, what would I be doing? Okay, easy to get lost in the day-to-day. Oh fuck, what does their day-to-day look like? But I realized, oh, what I would be doing is holding some pretty clear boundaries. What I would be doing is making sure that my team is clear on the tasks and performance requirements set in front of them. What I would be doing is keeping an eye on what's happening with, our most like frontline team, but I wouldn't be in the weeds about it. It's very different than doing. What would I do? I'd be doing meetings. I'd be doing reporting. I'd be doing, I don't know, performance management, like notes and stuff. Of course, that's part of the job. But when I think about like, well, what would I be doing? Oh, these are the things that I would be doing. So I want to really encourage you for that. I'm actually going to leave it for there. I'm going to record this other piece in a separate podcast episode because I think it's really juicy and deserves its own episode. So I want to leave that with you for today, to just really think about, the be, do, have, and trust that this has landed with you in a way to help create some unlocks and some shifts. And if you are in a place that you are looking to create some amazing shifts in your life, or you're feeling stuck and you're like, the fuck, how do I get out of here? I have one-on-one coaching spots available again. So definitely reach out to me. You can go to amyvanmeel.com, although I'll be very honest with you. I think that my coaching sales page is probably either a work in progress or like still fully behind the scenes. So feel free to just reach out to me on the DMs on Instagram, or TikTok if that's your jam. And we can have a chat about working together one-on-one. I'm fucking awesome at helping to coach people and create some really powerful shifts alongside you. I almost said for you. I don't create them for you. I just hold the door and ask you a lot of probing questions and share some really great wisdom with you. So I've had a lot of success with folks in the past. I feel like I should be telling you examples, but look, if you're going to know in your heart right now if you want to work with a coach, if you know if you're stuck, if you need some help, if you're kind of like all up in your fucking head about it. And if that is you, reach out to me. And even if we don't end up working together, maybe we get a good conversation started. All right, my loves, I will see you next week. Have an amazing day. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and help me reach more like-minded people who are ready to expand their life. If you haven't yet followed me on social media, find me on Instagram for extra love and inspiration by following @AmyVanMeal or visit my website at amyvanmeal.com. I love you so much, babe, and I am damn proud of you. I am already excited to connect in the next episode. And in the meantime, believe in yourself with the confidence of a 5-year-old.